Good afternoon. I'm very pleased to join you all here today to discuss Memphis in May and the festival events that are coming up next month. I'm excited about that because, like you, we were hit very, very hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. So this will be the first real events that we put on since 2019. Last March, we were just rolling along, looking forward to another successful and by all measurements going to be another big festival during May, when all of a sudden the pandemic hit and it devastated our organization. For the first time in over 40 years, we had to postpone the festival for May. We didn't want to cancel it outright because we knew that the hotel lodging and the tourism market was counting on us, so we postponed originally to last fall. But sadly, by summertime, it became apparent that the pandemic was going to be around for a little while. So we moved everything to this May, 2021, second rescheduling. And by last December, it became very, very clear that music festivals were not going to be viable the first half of the year. And I think even though there are some festivals going forward late summer into the fall, I think there's some questions about that. So we ended up rescheduling or canceling the Beale Street Music Festival for 21. In January, due to international travel restrictions, we had to cancel our Salute to Ghana and move that to 2022. As a result of this, our organization sustained a staggering financial loss in 2020 of $1.8 million. And Tom Lee Park sat empty during the month of May for the first time in 44 years. I think you've got a copy on your table of the annual report, and it shows a picture of a very lonesome Tom Lee Park. To give you just a little bit of perspective on the impact, the previous largest loss for the organization was in 1998 and totaled $592,000. So the 2020 loss as a result of the COVID postponement and cancellation was more than 3 times the largest loss in the organization's 43-year history. We were forced to lay off 70% of our team, and we're currently operating with 5 full-time staff members rather than our normal 14. But we have some good news. Unlike 1998, when the massive financial loss really brought into questions about the long-term continued viability of Memphis in May, and there was genuine concern here in the community, I'm pleased to report that we're financially solvent, we're down but we're not out, and we're ready to start our comeback. We were fortunate to receive 2 rounds of PPP funding, which has helped us with this $1.8 million loss. Well, last fall, the 4 guys and I like to call us the 5 guys, even though no one's made hamburgers down there at the office, we began working on what we felt we could do to bring back the festival in some shape or form this May. We knew, as I said, that the Beale Street Music Festival was not going to be viable, and the international travel restrictions would more than likely prevent us from doing the Salute to Ghana. But we felt that we could come up with a plan that would address the health and safety concerns, and that we could do a modified World Championship barbecue cooking contest and make some adjustments to our half marathon, 10K, 5K run and do those 2 events. So we went about working on that. We toyed very briefly with the concept of virtual or hybrid events, but the reality is no one likes that. Everybody wants to have what we're having here today, back-to-back, in-person interaction with other human beings. That's what everyone craves. That's what we need to get back to. We also knew it was going to be incredibly important for the hotel lodging community that we have some kind of driver during May, because we know that you all have been seriously injured as a result of what's taken place with the pandemic. And we wanted to provide a bit of a shot in the arm to May, even though we're not going to come back full-blown. And most importantly, we knew that the citizens of Memphis wanted to gather again with their friends, and they wanted to have cause to celebrate. And let's face it, Memphis in May is the biggest party every year in the city. You have family and friends that you don't see other time of the year. Visitors come to town. So we started working in December on our enhanced health and safety operating plan, which we finished up and submitted to the Shelby County Health Department in mid-February. We had a meeting with Dr. Haushalter and Dr. Randolph in early March and received approval to move ahead with our plan for the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest and the Great American River Run. So those are the events that we're going to be presenting next month in the city of Memphis. The two events will be smaller and they will be different from prior years due to the many health and safety protocols. All told, we had over 130 different operational changes to these two events to ensure that it was safe for participants, volunteers, staff, so on and so forth. Safety has always been at the forefront of all of our events. So the good news is that while we're not coming back in full this year, the Memphis in May banner will fly once again over Tom Lee Park, and the citizens and tourists alike will descend on downtown and the riverfront for Memphis in May, if only for those two events. Again, while the events will be the same as prior years, they will be different and smaller. We'll have fewer barbecue teams participating this year. Gate hours have been reduced. Programs that attracted crowds have been eliminated. There's no sauce wrestling, no stage entertainment. And the daily attendance has been capped at 35% of our normal attendance. No tickets will be sold at the gate. They're all being sold in advance. They're available now at memphisinmay.org, and if you want to attend, I would encourage you to go there and buy them because they're going quickly. Additional tickets may be open the first part of May, but that's at the discretion of the health department and will be based upon how the pandemic continues to evolve. Again, it's limited to 9,500 per day, which is about 35%. We normally have 25 to 30,000 people. But to give you some perspective on that, and we're proud of the fact that we got the clearance and we're working diligently to make this a success, the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest will probably be one of the largest public events in North America during the month of May. I was talking with Kevin earlier, and he said how Rail Garden had an event last week. It was one of the largest events in Tennessee. Very few large-scale public gatherings are taking place in an open-air environment. I know that a lot of the baseball season openers, the Chicago Cubs had a capacity limit of 8,000 in their stadium. Seattle Mariners had 9,000. So we're going to have 4 days of hopefully 9,500 people downtown, and people are excited about it. Ticket sales are very, very brisk, and we've got people coming from all over the country, so hopefully the hotel rooms are starting to fill up. Our Great American River Run, which is growing in popularity, will be held Saturday morning of Memorial Day weekend. People are very excited about that because, again, so many of the runs are still being held on a virtual basis. To date, we've got in excess of 1,000 runners registered traveling from 30 different states. And we expect it to attract close to 2,500 runners for the half marathon, 10K, and 5K. And if you'd like, I'll be running my very first 5K. So if you want to come out and take me on, I'm trying to get Mr. Brown to come.
I'm going to do it, but I'll be on my Segway.
Okay, you'll be on the Segway.
At half speed.
Okay. Well, that's how I'll be running too, I anticipate. For those of you that aren't aware, festivals such as Memphis in May operate on an incredibly narrow operating margin. We're a nonprofit organization, so we're not focused on making money. That's not what we're about. It's not our purpose. We need to sustain a profit in order to continue doing our programs, but that's not the purpose, to generate a lot of money. But rather, our purpose is to instill civic pride among the citizens, to enhance the economic impact of the city, which most notably is done through increased tourist development and hotel lodging revenues, and to promote and celebrate the city regionally, nationally, and internationally through positive press and PR. Memphis in May receives no taxpayer funding from the city of Memphis, from Shelby County, from the state of Tennessee. We are not taxpayer supported. We generate all of our revenue through sponsorship programs and event submissions, so we're no cost to the community. While over the past 21 years that we've operated, during my tenure there, we have grossed $147 million. Our aggregate net surplus during those 21 festivals was only $3.9 million. And that aggregate net surplus over 21 years was just cut in half as a result of COVID. On average, over the 21 years that I've led the organization, our net surplus averages $179,000 a year. That's an operating margin of about 2.7%. I almost feel sometimes like I'm a grocery store operator because they're, it's a very, very narrow margin. And then you also have to factor in that weather plays a major factor in our success because it's an outdoor festival subject to that. And I can tell you that in my 21 years, we've had 4 feet of event day rainfall. 48 inches in 21 years. So we have some challenges, but that's the nature of operating a festival. Now, Memphis in May views, as I mentioned earlier, the driving tourism as being very important. Kevin's been on our board numerous times. Regina's on there right now. We're very closely aligned with Memphis tourism. We've always focused on attracting out-of-town visitors, as that's a very tangible measurement of our mission to enhance economic development. Our economic impact over the past 4 years, from 2016, 17, 18, 19, there's a sheet, was $486 million. Economic impact for the city of Memphis. Tax generation from festival events activities during that 4-year period totaled $14 million. Much of that impact has come from hotel room night bookings, because as most of you know that are operating downtown or really citywide, Memphis in May has a major impact on room generation. I know that there are some nights during our event days where citywide occupancy will top 90%. And in addition to the increased occupancy percentage that we help drive, the average daily rate also goes up significantly during our event days. So clearly, Memphis in May impacts rates, occupancy. However, the compression that's caused, and it's primarily downtown, because of the bookings downtown, the compression spans out, and enhances business citywide. Even into West Memphis and northern Mississippi, the hotels get some lift as a result of the Memphis in May events. Now, with a large number of hotel projects downtown and the significant increase of available rooms, our ability to generate tourists during the month of May will be increasingly important for local hotel operators in the future. Our friend Chuck Pinkowski of Pinkowski & Associates is doing a study, will be released later this month or first part of May, showing the impact of Memphis in May on the hotel lodging community the past 5 years. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you all the importance of Memphis in May to the hotel and lodging industry. Now, the future of Memphis in May, while we're focusing our attention on the events next month right now and recovering from the devastating financial loss we experienced in 2020, our eyes are on the future for Memphis in May. As you all know, Tom Lee Park is scheduled for a major redevelopment, and we are uncertain at this point if the festival will be held in Tom Lee Park next year. Don't know. Tom Lee Park has been the home for Memphis in May for good reason. It provides an iconic and beautiful setting that differentiates our event from any other setting entertainment option here in the city. It's a unique, wonderful park. Since it's downtown, it's convenient to our entertainment district, drives a lot of people to Beale Street, and that adjacency attracts a lot of guests to the festival as well. And then we have the highest concentration of hotels within walking distance to the park and downtown, which is increasing significantly, it seems, by the week, the way they keep opening, Kevin. So no other location for the festival in the city is really ideal as is Tom Lee Park. We're hopeful that we'll be able to return to the park in 2022 as we begin our long road recovery from from 2020, and then the abbreviated festival that we're doing here in 2021. In the future, we're going to have the added challenge of a smaller park footprint in Tomley Park when the new redesigned park is completed. The redesigned park will result in a smaller, less impactful festival in the future. I've said that before, and I've been saying that for a few years. Let me repeat that. The redesigned Tomley Park will result in a smaller, less impactful festival in the future. The crowds at our annual Beale Street Music Festival will be smaller. The talent we're able to present in the new redesigned park will be lesser, as we won't have the capacity to financially afford some of the top tier talent we have presented in recent years when we featured artists like Cardi B, Post Malone, Dave Matthews Band, Ed Sheeran, and Kings of Leon. Our World Championship barbecue cooking contest will also have a reduced impact, as the number of teams we can host will be reduced. Now, we're hopeful that the impact of the new park redesign will not adversely impact the festival more than 15 to 20% of our operating capacity. However, when you're operating with a 2.7% operating margin, that capacity reduction is significant and noticeable. The bottom line is that it will mean fewer people coming to Memphis in May events, fewer out-of-town visitors during May, booking fewer hotel rooms. That's the reality of the situation. Now, we have sent a request to the City of Memphis to see if we can use Tomley Park in '22 as we begin planning our critical comeback year. I think the Memphis River Parks Partnership scheduled a design update later this afternoon. And it'll be an important update because we'll know, hopefully, the status of Tomley Park for 2022. Construction was originally slated to start this spring with a very aggressive schedule immediately after Memphis in May, so that the Memphis River Parks Partnership could meet the promise made by Mayor Strickland that Memphis in May would be out of Tomley Park for 1 year only for construction. It would deal another significant blow to our recovery if we're out next year. We have not seen the final approved plans. I've seen media reports talking about how the park started. There is construction work on, I think it's called Cut Bluff or something, a walkway dealing with ADA issues. But the final approved plans for Tomley Park have not yet been finished or approved. They need to go before a Riverfront Design Committee with the city and then get mayor's approval. And then construction drawings are put together, and then those are approved by the Army Corps of Engineers. So there's still quite a few steps going, despite what you may see in the news that it's underway. And ultimately, Mayor Strickland has final approval of the project. So we're looking forward to our 21 event next month. We hope we'll see you there. We're planning for 22. We look forward to continuing our service to the city of Memphis and the local hotel, motel, lodging community to the extent we can, and coming back even stronger in 2022 and hopefully for many more years in the future. Thank you very much for listening. I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of you may have. Look forward to seeing you in May.